Hello students, welcome everyone to second PU. We will start with the first unit of this year's syllabus, that is reproduction. In this unit, we'll be dealing with the chapter number 1, reproduction in organism. As we all know that each and every organism can live only for a certain period of time. The period from birth to the natural death of an organism represents its lifespan. As you can see in the picture, there are different lifespan for different organism. So reproduction, what is reproduction? We'll see the definition of reproduction. It is a process in which an organism produces young ones or offspring similar to itself. It enables the continuity of the species from one generation to another generation. Reproduction is generally of two types, asexual and sexual reproduction. We'll see each type of reproduction and its types in detail. Asexual reproduction. What is asexual reproduction? It is a type of reproduction where the production of the offsprings is done by a single parent. It is seen in unicellular organisms, some of the plants, and some of the simple animals. The offsprings are very identical to one another and even to their parents as well. Such morphologically and genetically similar organisms or individuals are called as clones. What are the different types of asexual reproduction? Generally, there are three types of asexual reproduction. First is fission, next is budding, and then vegetative propagation. Fission is again divided into two types, binary fission and multiple fission. First, we'll see what is fission in detail with an example. Fission is a type of reproduction where the parent cell divides into two or more individuals. It is seen in some of the unicellular organisms. So, subtypes of the fission are binary fission and multiple fission. What is binary fission? It is the division of the parent cell into two individuals. Example, it is seen in amoeba and paramecium. Multiple fission. It is the division of the parent cell into many individuals. It is seen in plasmodium as well as in amoeba. Coming to the next subtype of asexual reproduction, that is budding. Budding is a type of reproduction where a bud appears and grows in the parent body. That bud will develop into a new individual. After maturation, it is detached from parent body to form a new individual. Example, it is seen in hydra, some of the sponges, and coming to the fungus, it is seen in yeast. Third type of asexual reproduction, that is vegetative propagation. It is the production of the offspring from vegetative propagules in plants. Vegetative propagules are the units of vegetative propagation. There are different types of vegetative propagules in different plant bodies. Usually it is seen in angiosperms. For example, buds are the vegetative propagules which are seen in the potato tuber, rhizome of banana and ginger, adventitious buds of bryophyllum, bulbil of agave, offset of water hyacinth, runner, sucker, tuber, bulb, etc. are some of the vegetative propagules which helps in the process of vegetative propagation. Along with these three types of asexual reproductive structures, there are other asexual reproductive structures as well. For example, zoospores, conidia, and gemmules. Zoospores are the microscopic motile structures in some of the algae, example in Chlamydomonas. Conidia, it is an asexual reproductive structure in penicillium, which is one of the well-known fungus. Gemmules are the asexual reproductive structures seen in sponges. Each and every asexual reproductive structure will develop into a new individual under favorable conditions. Next is sexual reproduction. We'll see what is sexual reproduction, what are the events involved in sexual reproduction. Sexual reproduction is reproduction that involves formation of male and female gametes either by the same individual or by the different individual of the opposite sex. It results in offsprings that are not identical to their parents or amongst themselves. They are exactly dissimilar with their parents. It is an elaborate, complex, and slow process as compared to asexual reproduction. The period of growth to reach immaturity for sexual reproduction is called juvenile phase. In plants, this same juvenile phase is called as vegetative phase. After completing the vegetative phase or the juvenile phase, the animal or the plant will enter into a growth phase, reproductive phase. Juvenile phase is also called as growth phase. In higher plants, the flowering indicates the end of the vegetative phase at the same time beginning of the reproductive phase. There are two different types of plants such as annuals and biennials plants. They show clear-cut vegetative, reproductive and senescence phases. Senescence phase is the aged phase where the animal or a plant will die after a particular period of reproductive phase. In perennial plants, these phases are very difficult to identify. So we'll see what is annual, what is biannual and what is perennial plant. Annual plants are the plants which completes its life cycle in 1 year. That is, they grow, they bloom, produce the seeds and die in one growing season. What are biannuals? These are the plants which require 2 years to complete its life cycle. In first season they grow and in second season they go for the flowering season and then they'll die. What are perennials? So perennials are the plants which continuously gives the flowers and leaves for several seasons. Next, in animals, juvenile phase is followed by morphological and physiological changes prior to the active reproductive behavior. Birds living in nature lay eggs only seasonally. However, birds which lives in captivity such as poultry can be made to lay eggs throughout the year. The females of placental mammals exhibit cyclical changes in the ovaries, accessory ducts and hormones during reproductive phase. This is called as estrous cycle in non-primates such as cows, sheep, rat, deer, dog, tiger, etc. and menstrual cycle in case of primates like monkeys, apes and humans. What are placental mammals? These are the mammals which are having placenta. What is a placenta? Placenta is a connecting link between the mother and the fetus which is developing. It is morphological, functional and structural unit which is connecting the embryo with that of the mother. Next, based on the breeding season, mammals are divided into two types: seasonal breeders and continuous breeders. What are seasonal breeders? These are the mammals which live in a natural condition and exhibit reproductive cycles only during favorable seasons. What are continuous breeders? They are reproductively active throughout their reproductive phase. Senescence. What is senescence? It is also called as old age. This is the third stage which occurs after the vegetative phase or the juvenile phase and then the reproductive phase, and finally comes the last stage, that is senescence stage. It is the last phase of the lifespan and the end of the reproductive phase. During this phase, some changes occur in the body, for example slowing of the metabolism, which ultimately leads to the death. What are the events which are involved or the stages which are involved in the sexual reproduction? There are 3 stages. First is pre-fertilization, then comes the fertilization, and third is post-fertilization. We'll see each event and what are all the things which are happening in each event. First, we'll concentrate on pre-fertilization events. What are the pre-fertilization events? These are the events which are formed prior to the fusion of the gametes or prior to the fertilization. Before the fertilization, it includes 2 sub-stages such as gametogenesis and gamete transfer. So we'll see each in detail now. What is gametogenesis? It is the formation of male and female gametes. What are gametes? Gametes are the haploid structures which are of 2 types. Our haploid cells generally are of 2 types: homogametes and heterogametes. What are homogametes? These are also called as isogametes. Similar gametes, homo means similar. Similar gametes are present in the organisms. They cannot be categorized into male and female gametes. Example, some algae like Cladophora. What are heterogametes? Here the male and female gametes are different. For example, male gamete will be a bit smaller and female gamete will be a bit bigger. Example, male it is seen in human beings and some of the algae like fucus. Male gametes are generally called as antherozoids or sperms, and female gametes are called as eggs and ovum. What is sexuality? Based on the presence of the sexual structures, there is a sexuality in the organism, and generally it is of two types: bisexual or unisexual organisms. What are bisexual organisms? Male and female reproductive structures which, if present in the same individual, then they are called as bisexual organisms. In animals, these bisexual organisms are called as hermaphrodites. Example for bisexual plants is hibiscus and pisum. In flowering plants, male flower is called as staminate as it bears the stamens, and female flowers are called as pistillates as it bears the pistils. A male and female flowers are present on the same plant, then this is called as monoecious plant. Example, cucurbits and coconuts. Bisexual animals are also called as I said before, it is also called as hermaphrodites. Example for hermaphrodites are earthworms, leech sponges, and tapeworm. Coming to the second type, that is unisexual organisms. What are unisexual organisms? Male and female reproductive structures, if present on the different individuals, not in the same individual, then it is called as unisexual organisms. If male and female flowers are present on the different plants, it is called dioecious condition. In animals, it is called as unisexual condition. In plants, it is called as dioecious condition. It is seen in papaya and date plant. Example for animals are cockroach and some of the higher animals. Fungi may be homothallic or heterothallic. That is, homothallic means bisexual, heterothallic means unisexual. Cell division occurs during the gamete formation, which leads to the formation of the embryo. Many fungi, algae, and bryophytes have haploid parental body. That is, haploid means having n number of chromosomes. Diploid means having 2n number of chromosomes. For example, if total number of chromosomes in human beings are 46, it is a diploid number, that is 2n number. Alternatively, the haploid number of the chromosomes present in the human beings will be 23. Likewise, so pteridophytes, gymnosperms, angiosperms, and animals will have diploid parental body. They produce haploid gametes by meiosis of myocytes. So you can see some of the chromosome number in the meiocytes, that is 2n number and n number of some of the organisms. Second is gamete transfer. It is a second event in pre-fertilization events. What is gamete transfer? It is the transfer of the gamete from one organism to another organism, that is from male to female or female to male. So male gametes generally need a medium to move towards female gamete for fertilization. In most organisms, male gamete is motile, that is, it can move, show the movement, and female gamete is stationary, it cannot move from one place to another place. In some fungi and algae, both types of gametes are motile, that is, both can show the movement. In simple plants, gamete transfer takes place through water medium. So to compensate the loss of the male gametes during this transport, large number of male gametes are produced. In some of the seeded plants, angiospermic plants, pollen grains, for example anthers, carry the male gametes and ovule carries the female gametes. Pollen grains are transferred onto the stigma of the same flower or to the different flower. In bisexual self-fertilizing plants, example peas, anther and stigma are close to each other, so transfer of pollen grains is very easy. In cross-pollinating plants, so generally pollination is of two types: self-pollination and cross-pollination. Self-pollination is the pollination which is occurring within the flowers of the same plant. Cross-pollination is the pollination which is occurring between the two different flowers or two different plants. In cross-pollinating plants, pollination helps in transfer of pollen grains. Pollen grains germinate on the stigma, and the pollen tubes carrying the male gametes reach the ovule and discharge the male gametes near the egg. In dioecious animals, the fertilization helps for the successful transfer and coming together of the gametes. Starting with the next stage, that is fertilization. It is also called as syngamy. Fertilization is nothing but the fusion of the male and the female gamete. Two gametes are also haploid to form a diploid zygote. In some of the rotifers, honeybees, and some lizards, and in birds like turkeys, female gametes develop into a new organism without the fertilization. This particular process is called as parthenogenesis. Formation of the new individual without the fertilization is called as parthenogenesis. So what are the types of fertilization? Generally there are two types of fertilization. One is external fertilization and another one is internal fertilization. What is external fertilization? Here the syngamy or the fusion of the male and the female gametes occurs in the external medium outside the body, that is maybe the water, mostly the water. That is, the zygote is formed outside the body. Example, it is seen in some of the amphibians, some of the bony fishes. The best example is frog. Such organisms will show the synchrony. What is synchrony? At the same time, the male will release the sperm and the female will release the egg. That is to compensate the loss of the fusion. To overcome the problems of the fusion, both the egg and the sperm is laid at the same time. It helps in the easy fusion of the gametes. There is some disadvantages of the external fertilization. What is it? The offsprings are extremely vulnerable to the predators and threatening their survival up to the adulthood. As they are outside the living organism, there is a threat for their living. Next is internal fertilization. What is internal fertilization? Here, syngamy occurs inside the body of the organism. Example, some of the terrestrial organisms, for example, reptiles, birds, mammals, and some of the plants like bryophytes, pteridophytes, gymnosperms, and angiosperms. In this, non-motile egg is formed inside the female body to where the motile egg male gamete reaches and fuses. In seed plants, the non-motile male gametes are carried to the female gamete by pollen tubes. There is a large number of sperms produced, but the number of the egg is very low in case of internal fertilization. The third and the last stage of the sexual reproduction is post-fertilization events. These are the events which are which are occurring after the formation of the zygote. What is zygote? Development of the zygote depends on the type of the cycle of the organism and the nature of the environment. In fungi and algae, zygote develops a thick wall that is persistent to desiccation, that is loss of water and damage. It undergoes a period of rest before germination. In organism with haplontic life cycle, what is haplontic life cycle? Here the main form is haploid, that is N number, and it's a diploid zygote. And diploid zygote is formed for the short time. What is diplontic and plants? These are the plants where the main form is of 2N part and it produces a gamete of haploid cells. In organism with haplontic life cycle, zygotes divide by meiosis with haploid spores that grows into haploid individuals. Sexually reproducing organism begins life as a zygote. Zygote is the vital link between the organism of one generation to the next generation. Next process after zygote formation is the embryogenesis. Embryogenesis is the process of development of the embryo from the zygote. During embryogenesis, the zygote will undergo a mitotic cell division. It divides continuously to form a large number of cell mass and shows the cell differentiation. Cell division increases the number of the cells in the embryo. Cell differentiation causes the modification of the groups of the cell into various tissues and then to form the organs and finally to form the organism. Based on the place of the zygote development, animals can be divided into two types, oviparous and viviparous. What are oviparous organisms? These are the animals which lay fertilized or unfertilized eggs. They lay the eggs outside the body. Example, in reptiles and birds, the fertilized eggs are covered by calcareous shell and are laid in a safe place. After incubation by the mother, the young ones will hatch into a new individual. What are viviparous organisms? Here, the zygote develops into a young one inside the female body. Later, the young ones are delivered out of the body and most of the mammals show viviparous condition. Because of the proper care and the protection, the chances of survival of the young ones are greater in the viviparous animals as compared to the oviparous animals. With this, we'll stop today's chapter, that is reproduction in organism. Thank you everyone.